Welcome, everybody, to Tino's Time. And on this episode, we are going to go over one of my favorite times of the year. It's when we find out what teams are buying, what teams are selling, what teams are trying to make that playoff push, and what teams are looking to the future. It's trade deadline day, baby, and it's one of my favorite times of the year. Like I said, I've been watching this every day since I've been 10 years old, the last 15 years, and this year it's been one hell of a trade deadline. But before we get into all the trades that went down today, let's go back and let's talk about all the trades that went down before this crazy last few days that we've had. If you keep up with baseball, you should know what's going on. But if you don't, then don't you worry, your boy Tino has got you covered. So let's get first into the first trade that happened. It happened at the end of June. The Blue Jays acquired Adam Simber and Corey Dickerson for Joe Panic and a minor league prospect from the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays acquired Adam Simber and Corey Davis from the Miami Marlins for Joe Panic and a minor league prospect. My bad. It was one of those trades, went down at the end of June, and I was waiting for one of the trades to go down because, like I said, it's one of my favorite times of the year. But this is a really good pickup by the Blue Jays because Adam Simber has been really good in the bullpen, and Corey Dickerson has always had a really good bat. And he might not be exactly what he was a few years ago, and he's been on the injured list, or he is currently on the injured list. I'm sorry, but he has an on-base percentage of .699 in 62 games this season. So hey, when he gets back, that really helps the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays, they made so many moves throughout this trade deadline. It's kind of crazy, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. So let's get into the next trade that happened, and it was when Jock Peterson, the Cubs, finally said what they were going to do. They said that they were selling, and they started selling on July 15th. The Braves acquired Jock Peterson from the Cubs with Ronald Acuna Jr. out for the year. The Braves made a move and they bolstered their outfield with acquiring Jock Peterson from the Cubs. And the Cubs got a prospect in Bryce Ball, and Peterson signed a one-year free agent deal with the Cubs this offseason. The left-hander is hitting .230 and he has 11 home runs in 73 games this season. And hey, Ball is the Braves' number 12 prospect according to MLB.com. The first baseman is batting .207 with 6 home runs for high A Rome this season. The 2019 24th round overall pick of Dallas Baster has a 1.02 on base percentage in 62 games in his pro debut. That was a really good trade for the Cubs because they got Jock Peterson and he had a really good season. But this was kind of had me thinking, what were the Cubs going to do? And they said that they were selling, and we'll get into it a little bit later on when we talk about all the trades that went down the last few days, about what the Cubs have done. But guys, if you're a Cubs fan, you're not going to be happy if you're listening to this, because if you look on everything, your whole team's gone. I'm sorry, but the party's over, and it just the party's just over. But it's okay, Cubs fans, I understand. But when we talk about it a little bit later, you did get really one good prospect from my Southsiders that you'll be really happy about. But let's get into a small move that happened on July 16th. The Braves acquired Stephen Vogt from the Diamondbacks. And if you remember, he was on the Athletics a few years ago, and he is really good. So, that was a really good pickup, too. Another small move, the Dodgers acquired Billy Kidney from the Mets. Billy McKinney is a really good defensive outfielder. He's got a really good speed, and he's one of those players that could come in kind of like a Billy Hamilton. He's got speed and he could kind of hit, but we'll have to see. But the Dodgers make so many moves, and that's the biggest move we'll get into later. But so let's just wait till later. I know I keep saying that, but there's just so many trades. There was 30 plus trades that went down this week, people. I've never seen so many trades. But one of the biggest trades and the biggest splash for me was when July 22nd, the Rays acquired DH Nelson Cruz from the Twins. And as a White Sox fan, Nelson Cruz has killed us, and he's been one of the best bats, one of the best DHs in the MLB. And this kind of proved what side the Twins were going on, like I said in the beginning of the show, and throughout all my other shows. And if you watch baseball, you've just seen the Twins were supposed to compete this year, and they were supposed to be able to do compete in the AL Central with the White Sox and the Indians, but they are currently 18, 17 games back in the White Sox in the AL Central, and I just don't see it getting any better after, especially they traded away Nelson Cruz, so it kind of said that they were selling. And the Twins did receive Calvin Fulcher in exchange. The Rays acquired Nelson Cruz and Calvin Fulcher in exchange for prospect Drew Stroman and Joe Ryan. I'm sorry, that was way off. The deal was announced by the teams July 22nd, and hey, that's something that, down the road we could see possibly being a good deal. Another deal down the road, the Rays, that will help the Rays down the road. They acquired Rich Hill from the Mets, and the Rays, they need some pitching help. Tony Glassdow has been out for a while. He's been, he has that horrible injury, and it just, they need some pitching depth. But one of the biggest trades that went down was Adam Frazier. Adam Frazier has been in so many teams like pocket that they've been looking after: the White Sox, the Phillies, I think the Yankees looked into him, the Red Sox. There's been so many teams, I know there's been so many teams, I can't remember all of them. But the Padres acquired Adam Frazier. What is this? Are we building an all-star team in San Diego? I know you're San Diego Super Squad Space Jam now, but I don't understand why you needed Adam Frazier. We needed him on the south side. Nick Madrigal's out for the year. Anyway, the Padres acquired Adam Frazier, and that's not a bad move at all for the Padres. I'm just kind of disappointed he didn't go where I wanted him to go. But now this Padres, like I said, are an all-star team, and when you have Adam Frazier on one side and Francisco Tatis on the other, that is just ridiculous. And that the Pirates received three prospects: Jack Swinowski, Michael Milano, and Tuputika Marcano. I think I said hopefully I said those right. But anyway, they are really good. They are three really good prospects. And the Pirates also are sending $1.4 million to the Padres. So, that works out for both teams. And then the Cubs fire sale continued as they sent Adam Chafin to the Oakland Athletics for two prospects. And hey, that's exactly what the Cubs need to do. They need to try to get as many prospects as you possibly can, because the Cubs, they had that horrible losing streak at the end of June, the beginning of July, and they just lost so many things. And Adam Chafin has been really good. And Greg Deutschman and right-hander pitching prospect Daniel Panacci is who is going to the Cubs. Chafin has a 2.06 ERA and 37 strikeouts in 39.5 innings for the Cubs this season. He will join a great bullpen that has been without closer Trevor Rovenstall this season. We'll have to see what happens, but hey, Chafin was a great pickup by the Athletics. Another small move that kind of happened, it was the Mariners acquiring Tyler Anderson from the Pirates. Tyler Anderson is a really good pitcher, and he'll add definitely some depth to the Mariners pitching staff. And speaking of the Mariners have had a great run in June and July, and I was going to get to that a lot more in my July recap, so don't forget to check that out tomorrow live on YouTube at Tino Time 1996 or at Tino Time. Go check it out on YouTube tomorrow. But let's get back to the trades. But speaking of the Mariners, the Seattle Mariners, they were only a game out of the second wild card, and they've been playing really good baseball. But they go and trade one of their best bullpen pitchers to their rival that they're trying to get above in the standings, the Houston Astros. And the Houston Astros acquired Kendall Graveman in a 4-player swap with the Mariners. And this was one of those things that a lot of the players on the Mariners were shocked about, and they were very disappointed that all these things went down, and they traded away one of their best bullpen players to their rival, and now you're making the Mariners not as good. And in this trade, they did get Abraham Toro, and he came in and he hit a home run for the Mariners, and then he actually hit a home run for the Astros on Monday. He got traded to the Mariners on Tuesday. He hit a home run for the Mariners versus the Astros, and he won. I think he won all 3 games. One for the Astros and 2 for the Mariners. That's just crazy. But hey, Abraham Toro will be a great player for the Mariners down the road, and he is controllable. But I just did not understand why you would trade to your rival. And he's a great player, but it didn't make any sense to me. So hopefully it works out, but we will have to see. The Reds they traded for Michael Givens. The Reds have had their third reliever, or they have gone after their third reliever in 12 hours. But after bringing in Michael Givens to Cincinnati, Givens has appeared in 31 games and is at a 2.73 ERA in 29 and 2/3 innings for the Rockies this season. And the Reds, that's exactly what they need, because they are fighting in the wild card, and you never know what can happen in the second half. They could try to catch the Brewers, because we've talked about with the Cubs selling, it looks like it's going to be the Brewers and Reds in the NL Central, and see what is going to happen. But speaking, we were talking about the A's a little bit earlier with Adam Chafin going there, but the Marlins decided to trade the A's their center fielder, Starling Marte. And if you remember, Starling Marte was on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's been on the Marlins. The Marlins were trying to win one more time, and it just did not end up happening. But the Marlins did get Jesse Lazaro, I think that's how you say it, Craig Mish that went to Miami. And this was a deal, if you remember, Jesse Lazaro, when the A's were in the playoffs a few years ago, he was one of the top pitchers. They had him pitching, I think they had him pitching the wild card game or game 1 of the playoffs. I forget which or it was, but he was a really good pitcher a few years ago, so maybe the Marlins are hoping that he's going to be the same type of player, and hey, if he is, that works. But the A's got a great player in Starling Marte, and he's going to go there after slashing 306 with 7 home runs and 25 RBIs on a team that isn't so good. And yes, he has spent some time on the DL, but Starling Marte, if he's healthy, the A's got a great outfielder. Yes, and now back to the Astros. Trash cans, bang, bang, bang. They acquired some bullpen help in Yim Garcia from the Marlins. The Marlins just seem to be a fire sale again. So the Astros got some more bullpen help. The Brewers acquired Eduardo Escobar from the Diamondbacks. Eduardo Escobar has been really good this season. He's batting 246. He's got 22 home runs this season, and he's a switch hitting outfielder. And he's got an on-base percentage of .942. And that was a really good pickup by the Brewers, because the White Sox were interested, and there was a bunch of other teams interested in him. So, good job to the Brewers, because they got a stranglehold on that division. But you never know what can happen, and if you want to keep it, you got to get that depth. And with Willy Adames, he's going to be great, and Eduardo Escobar, you're gonna fit right in Milwaukee. But let's get to, I know I spent a little bit too much time. I spent about, like 13 minutes on that. I didn't want to spend that much time on it, but I wanted to make sure everybody knows what trades went down. So now let's get into all the trades that went down the last few days, and let's get into Wednesday. This past Wednesday, the Yankees started it off by landing Joey Gallo from the Rangers. And Joey Gallo is a great left-handed bat, and he's been on the Rangers his whole career. He spent a lot of time on the DL, and yes, he's been having a lot of trouble lately, but the Yankees landed him, and the Yankees really, really needed a left-handed bat. And, but the Yankees gave the Rangers a lot of prospects. They gave away Trevor Hoiver, infielder I can't even say his first name, I'm sorry. He's infielder Duran. You can go look it up. I don't even want to get his last name wrong. They got shortstop Josh Smith and right-hander Glenn Otto. And those are all the players that went to the Rangers. I'm sorry, I can't say that infielder's name. I think it's Squell. Duran, I think that's how you say it, but I don't want to say it wrong. And this is exactly what the Yankees needed to do. They needed to try to get a left-handed bat, and the Rangers got a lot of prospects because if you remember earlier in the offseason, they traded Lance Lynn to the Chicago White Sox and got Dane Dunning, and Dane Dunning isn't having that awful of a year. So, this is exactly what the Rangers needed, is just continue to get prospects because they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And Joey Gallo is somebody I feel like that should have been traded a little bit while ago. So, congratulations to the Yankees. You got your left-handed bat, but they weren't done yet, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk about my Chicago White Sox. They acquired Cesar Hernandez from the Cleveland Indians. And this is something like I talked about with like the Astros and Mariners swapping in the division. Why are you helping your rival if you're trying to catch them? And, I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, wait, why would the Indians trade away their second baseman to us, to the rival? But he made a good point. They probably just feel like they're out of it, and, why not get something for it? So the White Sox acquired the starting second baseman from the Indians, Cesar Hernandez, for what? I'm sorry, I got to find his name. He is, left-handed, I'm sorry. Cleveland got left-hander Connor Pilkington, a third-round pick in 2018 and 14 starts at Double-A Akron this season. He is a 3.48 ERA, and he's a little bit away. But with Nick Madrigal out, the Sox needed a second baseman, and they've got really good production from Leury Garcia and Danny Mendick, but they need that guy that can come in and get a lot of power. And Cesar Hernandez is batting .231 with an on-base percentage of .738, and he has 18 home runs. And I love Nicky Two Strikes, but we needed a second baseman since Madrigal was out. So, good job, White Sox. Go get that guy. The closer, though, Brad Hand, was traded to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays continued to add to their bullpen. They needed to get some more bullpen depth if they were going to try to catch the Rays and the Red Sox in that division. Then they added Brad Hand. He's 31 years old, and he has a 3.59 ERA with 21 saves and 42 strikeouts. And he did sign a one-year free agent deal with the Nationals last offseason worth $10.5 million. But hey, the Blue Jays needed to do that really, really bad. So they went out and got Brad Hand. But speaking of the Chicago White Sox a little bit earlier, I know I get really excited when I talk about them, but as a White Sox fan, guys, you need to understand we've been awful since 2005. I have not seen anything good baseball since 2008. I'm so happy the White Sox are just finally making moves, because for the last 15 years, all it's been is them trading away players. So the White Sox went out and they went to the north side and they traded for reliever Ryan Tepera, and they also went out and got Craig Kimbrell. They went out and got two of the Cubs' best pitching in the bullpen, but I mentioned them a little bit earlier. They had to give away Nicky Madrigal, Nicky Two Strikes, and Nick went out with a horrible hamstring injury earlier this season. Hopefully he can get healthy and get better and be really good on the north side. But the White Sox had to give up something because they really needed some bullpen depth. But with the Ryan Tepera deal, they did get minor leaguer lefty Bailey Horn in 43.5 innings this season. That's what Tepera's numbers is. Let's talk about Bailey Horn first. Bailey Horn is a really good pitcher, and he hasn't been in the majors for too long, but he's going to be one of those guys that the Cubs can build around, and the Cubs need pitching staff. Really, the Cubs need young pitchers that they can build around and put in that rotation, because the Cubs are at the point where they needed to trade away all of their pieces and do what you needed to do. So let's talk about Ryan Tepera for a second. Ryan Tepera has pitched in 43.5 innings with the Cubs this season. He owns a 2.91 ERA, and he has a 50.5 K to walk ratio, and he has one save and three attempts, and he has 16 holds. The White Sox, like I said, they gave up Nicky Madrigal and I didn't mention Cody Hoyer. They gave away Nicky Madrigal and Cody Hoyer for Craig Kimbrell, and I've been watching the baseball MLB show all day, and they say the White Sox now have the best bullpen in the MLB, and I'm not doubting that. They have you go from Michael Kopech, Craig Kimbrell, Ryan Tepera, and Liam Hendricks. And hey, that's a squad right there. You make the baseball game 6 innings because you get to those 4 guys. I'm sorry, you make that 5 innings. You get to those 4 guys. And if they are as deadly as everybody knows that they can be, that's going to be really, really good for the White Sox. And that's going to be good for the Southsiders. And that's what they need. But it sucks to see Nicky Madrigal go. But it's okay. We'll see you on the north side, Nicky. But let's talk about the Dodgers because they went out and they got some pitching help. They got Danny Duffy. And the Royals, Danny Duffy has been a great pitcher. He is currently on the injured list, but he has an ERA at 2.51. And the Dodgers, they're chasing the Giants, but it doesn't look like any other team is going to be able to catch the Dodgers and the Padres in the NL wild card unless something dramatic happens. So it looks like Danny Duffy is here, or he's going to be here probably by September or October, and he'll be ready to help the Dodgers in October, because you have to also remember that there is no other deadline except the trade deadline. So there is no more August 31st deadline like there used to be in the past. But let's continuously, now I want to get into the 3 big trades that happened with the Chicago Cubs. And one went down last night, and actually 2 went down this afternoon, and actually 1 went down with 3 minutes left in the trade deadline. But first, the one I want to talk about is the Yankees added Anthony Rizzo. I did not see this coming. Anthony Rizzo went to the Yankees. What? Huh? Like, come on. The Yankees don't need any more help, and I know the Yankees are 9 games out of their AL in their division, and, we'll have to see what happens with the wild card, but, the Yankees needed to add some depth in their offense, but I did not see this one coming. And the Cubs did receive, they received a few they received Kevin Alcazar and prospect Alexander Viciacato. I think that's how I say it. I'm sorry if I'm getting a lot of these names wrong. I'm awful with pronouncing some of these guys' names. I'm working on it, but work with me. And I just cannot believe the Yankees added Anthony Rizzo. And in my opinion, I feel like the Cubs should have got a little bit more. So, in my opinion, I feel like the Yankees kind of fleeced the Cubs, but that's just my opinion, and everybody's going to have their own opinions. We'll have to see what these 2 guys do, but I'll talk about it with the next trade we get into in a second. I just feel like the Cubs needed to get a little bit more than they did, because the next trade for the Cubs that went down, they traded away Javier Baez. Javier Baez was one I did not see coming at all. Javier Baez was one I thought, I was for sure he was staying on the Cubs, and I thought he was going to be the one staying. He went to the Mets with Trevor Williams, and they ended up getting one of the really young they got a really young prospect in let me find him real quick. They got Peter Crow Armstrong. Sorry, you guys. He's an outfielder in the Mets. He's the Mets' number 5 prospect. And, Peter Crow Armstrong, he's a guy that the Cubs can use down the road in a little bit. But, again, like we talked about, the Cubs are trading away players, and they just want to be able to rebuild. And it looks like they started off their fire sale. They also went out and traded Chris Bryant with 3 minutes left in the deadline, people. 3 minutes left in the deadline. They went and traded Chris Bryant to the San Francisco Giants. I cannot believe that Chris Bryant got traded. And at first, everybody thought that the Giants gave up one of their best pitching prospects, but that was not the case. They gave up a few okay guys. They gave up oh my god, I'm sorry, people. They didn't give up very many after seeing the Dodgers acquire Max Scherzer, because that's when we'll have to get into. I'm going to retract back to Chris Bryant because I kind of got a little confused there. Anyway, the one I want to get into before we talk about Chris Bryant again, Max Scherzer and Trey Turner went to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Max Scherzer and Trey Turner are now on the LA Dodgers. What is this, people? That is just crazy to see. That is just nuts to see that Trey Turner and Max Scherzer went to the LA Dodgers. That is just one of those things I did not see coming at all, and it was one of those things that was kind of rumored, but it wasn't official until today. So they got Keibert Ruiz, Joshua Gray, and Gerardo Castillo, and outfielder Donovan Casey. And those are four really good players, and they're Key Bryant Burt Ruiz is a really young, and he's a top five catching prospect from the Dodgers, and that's exactly what the Nationals needed, is some hitting, because they knew that they weren't going anywhere after they won the World Series in 2019. They obviously got rid of Bryce Harper throughout the years, and now Juan Soto is the face of the franchise. So now, I know I was kind of messing up on the Chris Bryant thing a little bit earlier, so I wanted to get back to that. And, like I just talked about with Max Scherzer and Trey Turner getting traded to to the Dodgers, to the Dodgers. I'm sorry, I'm all types of off right now. I'm sorry, people. This has just been a crazy day. Anyway, the Cubs traded Chris Bryant to the Dodgers after Chris Bryant was traded to the Giants after the Dodgers made the move for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, because Evan Longoria continues to recover from his injury, and now Chris Bryant can play all types of every position, and it's one of those things that the Cubs needed to do. Every Cubs fan is going to say that they didn't want to trade Chris Bryant, Craig Kimbrell, Ryan Tepera, Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo. They needed to do it, but the only problem that I have with all of the Cubs trades that went down is they did not get enough players. You do not get one guy for Javier Baez and Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams was supposed to start tonight, and Javier Baez has been one of the best second baseman shortstops in the game. He was a great player, and he was a big reason on why they won the World Series in 2016. And, I just feel like the Cubs should have got way lot more than they did for all of these guys. And we'll have to see what happens down the road. But not even just because I'm a White Sox fan. I just feel like the best player that they got in all of the trades was Nick Madrigal, and I really hope that he comes back and he does what he can do, and he can be Nicky Two Strikes and help the Northsiders, as much as I don't want to see it. But enough about the Cubs, and I'm sorry guys about that really bad mess up. I just kind of got all types of confused. It was really bad. But let's go into the other trades that happened, because the Phillies acquired Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy. The pitching prospect going to the Rangers is Han Kroos, and they will be getting Spencer Howard, Kevin Grody, and Josh Gresher in the Gibson trade. And hey, that's exactly, like I said, with Joey Gallo trade, that's exactly what they needed to do. They needed to go out and get guys and pitchers and position players that are young enough that they can build around, because the Rangers are another team that are trying to sell, and they're trying to build for the future, like when they traded Lance Lynn in the offseason. They traded Joey Gallo, like we just said earlier. We talked about him going to the Yankees. The Twins made a move. They traded J.A. Happ to the Cardinals for prospect John Grant. The A's acquired John Harrison and Ya Gomes from the Nationals. Another few moves. We talked about the Mets acquiring Javier Baez and Trevor Williams. The White Sox, like we talked about, Craig Kimbrell, that's going to be deadly. The Brewers acquired Daniel Norris from the Tigers. Daniel Norris is a really good bullpen guy, and I cannot wait to see how he helps the Brewers bullpen, because they're already a good bullpen with Josh Hader. And the Tigers will be getting Reese Olson, and Reese Olson has a 4.03 ER or 4.30 ERA in 69 innings for High A Wisconsin this season. But we'll have to see what happens. And hey, that's okay, because the Tigers are a long way from competing. At least in my opinion, I think they're down the road. But let's talk about the Braves. Redid their whole entire outfield. They got Eddie Rosario from the Indians, Adam Duvall from the Marlins, and they also got Jorge Soler from the Kansas City Royals. And Jorge Soler has been on a tear the last few weeks, and he has just been crazy good. that they just completely redid their outfield. They also added Jock Peterson, we talked about a little bit earlier. They traded away Panda Salvador. Remember, if you don't remember Panda from the 2014 San Francisco Giants, I don't know what you're missing, but Panda was a great player in my opinion. I always loved Panda. He will be playing on the Cleveland Indians, so as a Sox fan, I'll be seeing him, I'm sure, down the road. We actually play him tonight, so I don't know if he'll be in the lineup tonight because that trade just went down a few minutes ago, like right before the deadline. This is another deadline deal that went down, so we'll have to see if he'll be in the lineup. But the Braves made some moves, and they did a lot. Also, let's talk about the Pirates. They traded away Richard Rodriguez to the Atlanta Braves. Freddie Galvis went to the Philadelphia Phillies. These trades, they have not announced who is all involved. So if you are watching this and you want to see who is involved in all these trades, I'm sure by the time this is released, all the trades will be confirmed and all the prospects and everything will be out. So while you're listening to this, and I know I got a lot of people wrong and everything like that, but go and check it out and you'll be able to see who all of these things is. But as of right now at 4:17 Central Standard Time in Chicago, Illinois, these trades they just say they don't have any other players going to the other teams. So the Indians acquired Miles Straw, the center fielder from the Astros. Freddie Galvis, like I just said, went back to the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know what exactly the Cardinals were doing, but they went out and got John Lester. And, Richard Rodriguez, like I said, went to the Atlanta Braves. But the last trade deadline deal I want to talk about is the Blue Jays landed one of the best outfielders, or not one of the best outfielders, I'm sorry, one of the best starting pitchers. I'm way off. Oh my God. They landed Jose Barrios from the Minnesota Twins. And like we talked about a lot in this show, the Minnesota Twins have traded away a lot of guys. Like they have traded, Nelson Cruz and stuff like that. And, we just saw it coming. And there was a couple rumors that Max Kepler might get traded and stuff like that. But Jose Barrios going to the Blue Jays and putting him in the middle of that rotation is going to be really good. The Twins will receive two of Toronto's top prospects in Austin Martin and Simon Woods Richardson, ranked number 2 and 4 by MILB Pipeline, represented in 20 starts in this season. Barrios' ERA is a 3.48 with 126 strikeouts, 32 walks, and 121.2 innings. And the last pitched, Martin was the fifth pick in the 2020 draft after hitting 281 this season high with a 424 on base percentage in Double-A. So in my opinion, I feel like this helps both teams. The Blue Jays get that starting pitcher they need, and the Twins get a bunch of really good guys, and they got the number 2 and 4 pitching, or players, not pitching. They got the 2 and 4 best players in the farm system of the Blue Jays. That is just crazy. I know this show has been wild. I know for the last 30 minutes I've been rambling on about all these trades. But like I said, people, there have just been so many trades that went down today. It is just crazy, and I love this time of year. I love when the trade deadline goes down, especially for the first time ever. The White Sox are, I can be biased sometimes, but as a diehard White Sox fan, I just love finally watching them win and compete. So, this is the first year they've been buyers, so it's just fun. If your team's buying, if your team's selling, whatever it may be, you're looking to the future, you're looking for the World Series ring, you're doing whatever you can to be good now, to be good in the future. It's just the best. And like we talked about, there is no August 31st trade deadline. So the trade deadline is passed. I haven't seen any other trades went down. I think I got through most of them. I've pretty much wrote every single one of them down. But if I didn't, let me know in the comments. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I know there were a lot of mistakes. I'm still working on it. I'm still getting better. But I'm going to keep doing what I got to do. and keep being your boy Tino, because your boy Tino is going and he ain't stopping. Remember, I just try to make everybody motivated. I know everybody doesn't understand probably what the hell I mean, but I just try to stay positive and keep everybody motivated because I don't like the negativity. It was a very bad time a few years ago, and it was one of those things, but let's just stay positive. So I hope everybody enjoyed Tino's Time MLB trade deadline special. I hope everybody will listen. Remember to smash that subscribe button. Go help your boy Tino out. Go follow at Tino Time 1996 on Instagram. Go find at Tino Time 10 on Instagram, at Tino Time Wrestling on Instagram. Go follow Tino Time on Facebook. And hey, I cannot wait. If you haven't yet, go watch all my other shows. Go follow, go share, go subscribe, leave comments, help your boy Tino out. And until we do the July recap, after you watch this, go check that out because that will be out tomorrow, August 1st, or actually 2 days. So I'm sorry. In 2 days that will be out. That will be out August 1st. We will be recapping everything that will be going on that went on in July in the baseball season, and I will mention and we will talk a little bit about the trade deadline and how all these teams will benefit from the players they lost and they gained and everything baseball. The baseball season, I cannot believe, is almost done. We are in the midst of August. We got August, September, and then it's October, and you know what that means. It's time for the dog days of summer. We're in the midst of a playoff race. We're in the midst of a playoff. Just everything going on in the baseball season is awesome. It might just be because we finally get 162 games this year anyway. I love baseball in my opinion, and I hope everybody enjoys baseball as much as I do. So again, I hope everybody enjoys the show. And until August 1st and in a few days, when I recap everything that happened in July in the baseball season, this is your boy Tino, signing out.